gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna live in abundance. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna. I gotta keep it 100. We gotta stop all the stunting. You know we coming from nothing. Yo, you talking about money, you bluffing. We gotta do something different. We gotta change how we live in. We gotta do better for women. We gotta do better for children. We gotta listen to victims, whether Jewish or Muslim or Christian. It doesn't matter your religion. You gotta stand against the system, or else you just another villain. How you just sitting there chilling?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all pronouns, whatever. Listen, man, I gotta tell you something. I'm very, 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 very. This is for X only X. X, y'all came through with the Alex Suave, with the Alex Suarez interview. Y'all came through hard. That was beautiful. Meta, hate you. Y'all came through on X, Twitter. I love you. Elon Musk still, he gets on my nerves, but he does things here and there. I'm very, 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 very pleased with the outcome of that. Just want to make sure I give a shout out to that, especially to the Chavistas, because that's very, very important. Now we're going to move on. We're going to move on to our next topic. I have two dynamic people that have their own podcast called the Root Purpose Podcast. And you know how important the arts is to me. And you know how important just doing what you want to do is to me. This is why I'm so freaking political. This is why I'm so freaking artistic. So we're going to continue on with meeting these two new brothers right here. You already know the guy, Anubrannerd. You already know him. You're going to meet his boy. So let's, without further ado, let's bring on Anubrannerd and Chip, host of the Root Purpose Podcast.
Hey, what's going on, man?
How's it going? I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time out. Come on, I know that we were supposed to do this last time, but we all got into our ish, which is hilarious.
Like, yeah, it's right on time. You know? It always something comes up, but it's right on time.
It's so funny. None of us contact each other at all. We was just like doing what we gotta do, and then the next day, what's we supposed to? Shit, we're supposed to do something, but we're finally here.
Right, man.
Well, listen, man. I'm glad to see you again, brother. It's been a minute, and it's good to meet you, Chip, man. We had a conversation before we started recording, and I felt like it was a really good base conversation. I learned a lot from you. You learned a lot from me, bro. But now it's time for the audience to learn about you guys. Let's start off with let's start from the beginning, honestly. Starting with whoever wants to go first. Like, how did you guys meet each other? And have you guys worked together before the podcast? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll take it.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so me and Josh, or Anubrannerd, as many of you know him by, we met in undergrad, Howard University, Washington, D.C., 2008. That's where we met. We were, our dorm rooms, Drew Hall, our dorm rooms are right next to each other. We met through, well, obviously moving in. He was always playing Super Smash Brothers. Most of the tournament was happening in his room. So he had Super Smash. I had the Xbox at the time. So Call of Duty, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, that's literally how we initially met. On top of that, he was my barber.
Yeah, man.
During my whole time at Howard.
Word.
So yeah, that's where our connection, our kind of bond started, as well as both of us stepping for our dorm step team. So we were just literally always around each other. We either stepping, he was either cutting my hair, or we was playing video games.
Straight up.
Yeah, so that's how we met. That's when we met.
That's dope.
Josh, I don't know if you had anything to add.
Yeah, no, it's funny the way you put it. I remember one of the big things is when you first move in, right? Andrew's like, "Yo, I got a microwave." I'm like, "Oh, say word." Then the other joint was like, "Oh, you got a." He's like, "Oh, you got a Wii U." He's like, "Oh, it was a Wii at that time, right?" He's like, "You got a Wii, but you ain't got Smash, bro." And I'm like, "Oh, we got it right here." So yeah, man, it
Say
is
no
like
more, say less.
some from day one, just saving up, chopping it up. I think even like I got to meet like some of your family. I think my family might have got to like meet you when we were first moving in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Since then, between cutting hair, when Andrew came out of the shell, started dancing. Like I was the hype man in the circle because I couldn't really dance like that. And then yeah, man, being on the step team, shoot, even to us, Nesby, because we're both engineers, being a part of Black Society engineers. That probably was the first time that we like worked together, right?
Right.
Because Andrew Chip was the president, I was vice president, and that was the first time we were like, okay, we could tag team some events, some programs, So yeah, man, coming into the podcast really felt like we were just coming back into what we was doing back at Howard, man. So it really did felt like we just kind of jumped right back into them roles. So it was a dope natural progression into it. Yeah.
That's really awesome. How did you guys come up with the concept, and how did it start off with the idea of podcasting?
So it's funny,
Better.
man. I want to like dish it to Andrew after this, but like someone else just asked me that today, and it really was like anytime we like catch up, you know how it is when you got like people that you might not talk to every day, but when y'all talk, it's like no time passes, right? So the times that we like had conversations, we catch up, and like really what stood out to me is the time that we had conversations when Andrew has an extensive family now, right? But one time that stood out to me is when he found out that his wife had twins. Crystal had twins, and he was explaining to me like a complication about the type of twins that she had. And the more that we talked, I was like, man, more people should be having conversations like this. And that stood out to me as one point when I was like, okay, like we definitely have like subject matter things that we could talk about, but this is something really that we want to share out with other people. But that was like a distinctive moment that stood out to me. But Andrew, man, you can tell her how you thought, because Andrew always been the man with the plan, like that visionary. So go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. Nah, that's dope. I know that's like the example you always use now.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I think the way for me it came to be was like to further what Josh was saying. There were a lot of conversations that me and Josh would have, or that I would have with a lot of my other close friends. That it's like, imagine if we shared this more often, with other people, that other people can learn from our mistakes, our experiences, and hopefully learn from them and be better than we were at whatever they're coming up after us or before us, etc. They can learn something from it. Why not share it? Let's not be a part of the kind of this gatekeeping mindset of like, when I learn something, that my group is straight, but what about everybody else? And so, especially during the pandemic, how important it was and how much we all were more connected during that time. It was a crazy time. And so more and more, I finally kind of pulled the trigger on trying to create some type of entity. At the time, I didn't know the name. There was a few other people that helped me kind of workshop the idea. Like, I'm just endless conversations with them, like just talking like what I would want to do. And that's how the name came to be. The types of conversations we wanted to have, not to just stop at those, small talk. I can't stand small talk. For me, it's always been about less like how do we connect as human beings to the many issues that we have today, man. If we could at least have a conversation, then there's hope, there's a place to start. So let's take the time to actually get to the root. Like, let's not assume, let's stop these assumptions. However you were raised, all those things, take a second, take a step back and keep an open mind. Let's have a conversation. Let's get to the root of especially the more difficult conversations. We like to have fun. We like to talk about the fun things as well, but I think it's all necessary. And so that's really when it came down to. Josh was one of the main people that I was, talking to about like, I think we could do this. Because initially I was trying to do this on my own. I know Jabari, before we started recording,
Right.
we were talking about like our personalities, like Aries. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it. Like, I don't have the patience. Like, let's
Right.
here's the plan, here are the steps. Why can't we achieve these steps? We talked about it. Where's the action? What's happening?
Right.
Let's move. So, but it's a lot. This type of I call it work, or this type of movement, this type of these types of conversations. I feel it's great to be able to share that experience with other people. And so I was like, this is a no-brainer. Me and Josh already talk about these things all the time. Josh, do you want to be a co-host? Like, it took me a year to actually ask him, because I was so trying to focus on trying to build the business side of the podcast before we got into actually recording and all these other things. So that was the long version.
I know, but this is important to know for people that are, interested in getting into the line of work that we do. It's a lot of work, and it's so much easier to just, put something on, but it's also like, yeah, you put something on, but how are you going to get this out to people? Like everyone's always thinking about the viral moments, like, oh, I just got to go viral. Just gotta go viral. Okay, what's next after that? And how are you going to go viral? And what do you need to learn about that? Because yes, viral happens. People get that opportunity, but that's like what 1% compared to influencers and podcasters of anything in social media that's been doing it for such a long time. I mean, even Joe Rogan himself, he's known as the godfather of podcasting right now. No one's bigger than him, with 11 million views 24/7, exposing new things to the world. He wasn't even known as a podcaster and was doing podcasting for 7 years straight before his shit catched on. So it's important to talk about the things that people don't see. What's behind the mic. It took a physical sponsorship to gain a physical sponsorship for me to even have what I have right now. But I had to earn that. And how did I earn that? It wasn't just, I just threw things on. No, I had to network. I had to market. I had to DM people, say, oh, did you see this episode yet? Or get an email list. That's my new thing that I'm doing right now. There's a lot of things that comes with it. If you want to have your voice heard. And I believe everyone's voice should be heard, no matter how crazy you are. Hell, Kanye is the greatest rapper of all time. He acts up.
I was like, man, that just took a quick left.
I know.
Kanye, just
freaking Kanye, right?
15 seconds.
But no, I can talk all day about that, because I'm just like, it's such a hard work. Like, even with 2 years, man, it's like it's such hard work. And you guys, I like your graphics. I like your clips. I like the little questions that you have in between and stuff like that. Was that you guys design, or was that Chip or Urban Nerd? Was that any of you guys designed together? Or
I feel like we do a lot of like bouncing back and forth and like designing off of each other, and then like, Chip will try something and I'm like, oh word, let's try this. And like it's a lot of that collaboration. And even now, like I feel like we got to the point where like I have an idea and I'm like, before I get too carried away, because I feel like I could be the one that's like start running and like ready to do something, and Chip's like, hold on, let's work through this. And I'm like, all right, man, all right, fine, like let me chill. But it works, because like now we got to that point where we can like more have a brand, like even the way that Chip laid that out, like I really having the time to think about how this can become our brand. It's been dope how we have an aesthetic. I didn't even think that that's something that we would have, but it's like naturally, the more that we've tried things out, played around what we liked, and studying other people, right? Definitely we looked into like other podcasts, and
Research is key.
Research, right? Because
Right.
it's easy to like try to emulate and look like something else, right? It's
Yeah.
hard to try to create something that's your own and what's going to make
Right.
it unique. So, yeah, man.
Yeah. That's so real because you're seeing a lot of people that are emulating and they're just you can tell who's emulating and who is trying to be genuine.
It's not authentic.
Right. And that's what it's all about. What gets you going is the authenticity. Like back to what I was talking with Chip earlier. We had a pretty cool conversation. We talked about Spotify, how Spotify spent over $400 million to put the Obamas on a podcast, to put Meghan Markle on a podcast, the Kardashians on a podcast, and they did not recoup any of that. They had to cut all those podcasts. But who still stands? You still got the True Crime podcast. You still got Joe Rogan. You still got Patrick Bet-David. Mike Tyson is doing pretty well. All these other podcasts, even the alien podcasts are through the roof. People are loving those. That's one of the top. I'm a nerd, guys. I pay attention to what type of podcasts are hot and what is interesting and stuff like that. So if I sound too detailed on that, I apologize.
No, not at all. I was just listening. It's just like, no, this is what it should be like, though. That's what it should be. Like, you should be educated about, especially as podcasters. You should know, hey, what's on the up and up? Like, what's actually happening within this?
Yeah, you have to know, because it just shows because Spotify lost so much money on something that they thought was going to be great because it had people on that knows nothing about podcasts, but they became famous through their own whatever they chose to do in their path. And they assumed that they were going to make all this money, but all these great talents, Matthew Cock, like everything that's going through the airwaves on Spotify that's not big to them is doing way better than anything they put $400 million into. So that just shows how important it is to know that this is a craft itself. Like Chip was like, this is the new radio. I agree with that. This is definitely the new radio. The chemistry you guys have. I noticed when I was listening to your podcast that you guys definitely have a strong chemistry. Is this something that grew over time, or do you feel because of all the stories that I heard that you guys have had so much time together, it's very organic, right? Like you feel to the point that you guys could just have a conversation about anything. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Working with business is so different, especially with business with friends, which is why I brought up the question. You know what I mean?
It is. I think because of our relationship and the type of relationship we had and the things that we've already worked with each other on in the past, like the relationship was already like multifaceted. Like we worked with each other in a professional manner, but also like just peer to peer, friends, brothers, family. Like, so it's a lot of the foundation that you need to have a successful business amongst friends, amongst family was there. And that's the most important thing. Stand on the relationship and put that first always. That's how I think we've been very, very successful. Even when we, don't agree on something, it's all right, let's have a conversation about it because, all right, maybe something good comes out of the disagreement that neither one of us even saw in the first place. So it's like definitely our relationship and the amount of time we put into it. Because that's another thing. Just you got to maintain your relationships. It's not just, oh, I know this person. It's like, yo, what type of time you putting in?
Yeah.
Like into all those things. So I think a lot of that plays into the chemistry that we're able to organically have in our conversations. Because like low key without like besides the guest episodes that we're hoping to do this year, it's like we really could just the episodes we could just all right, what's the topic? All right, go. Like, but for me, like I like to have a plan. I like to have structure. So that's the only reason low key we be let's at least have some high level bullet points for the episode, but we naturally just go through the paces of a conversation.
Yeah. I want to say too. There's times like Chip will call me and he'll be like, "Well, we'll get into like some podcast details," and we're like, "Nah, man, we just need to catch up sometimes," you know. So
Yep.
that helps, like really
Mhm.
putting them boundaries. Like the WhatsApp was a big like we're like, no, this is the root purpose WhatsApp, and then we're like, and we're texting to catch up, just to talk,
Mm.
you know. So there's times where you gotta be put those boundaries so that we can just catch up because you don't want to just be just talking business all the time, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it's genuinely like, nah, man, how are you doing? So that's been a real big like thing that we had to do, but it helped a lot. Because yeah, man, it's easy to get frustrated over business, and I had a post I was ready to do, and Andrew's like, no, and I'm like, oh, but it's like, but still, you won't be able to drop it and be like, all right, man, like it's cool. How you been? So that was a big thing
Yeah.
that definitely helped
Mm.
us.
So you guys have 7 episodes out. What would you say will be your favorite episode that you would want to highlight for your first season?
I'll let you go first.
I'm laughing
Urban Nerd. I'll
because
let
I,
Urban Nerd go first.
I'm laughing because I literally asked him this too. Um, yeah, man. I mean, of course, like the easy answer is be like all of them, right? But like
I mean,
for me,
very
man,
engaging.
for me, like I think the most recent one was really one of my favorites because
Mhm.
when you talked about when you talked about that chemistry, like we came out that the most recent one, I was like, hey man, we got to stride. Like there's times where there's other episodes that we've done and we're like, oh, we did a good job. Like we
Yeah.
got so there weren't too many stutters, right? But this most recent one was real like, bam, what we got? Cool. This is what we're gonna talk about. Cool. And it really, you know, just reminded me like, okay, we got some time in, right? Because it's easy to look at, even when you said like 7 episodes, there's a part of me that's like, dang, we did 7 episodes. But there's another part
Hey,
that's like,
look, that's good though.
right? There's always that nagging bit of you, like only 7, right? But
Yeah.
then I'm like, nah, man, we did a lot, and for us to get to here,
Right.
that most recent episode is just like a
Yeah.
great way to start off the year. That's for me.
Yeah. Look. Go ahead, Chip. Sorry.
Oh no, you good? No, you like you
I
about
was
to say
gonna
something.
say, hey, you know what? Be crazy like me. You already know how crazy I am. I freaking drop episode after episode after freaking
Yeah, man,
episode.
you be working. You be working.
Yeah, man.
I find it good when people take their time. Don't be crazy.
Right?
That's actually the pace I want to go. But what I've been learning, especially over these past couple of years, is to pace myself. It's a
Mm,
marathon, not a sprint. And that's actually been the most difficult part. Is like, man, I would want to have an episode out every week, but can we actually? There's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that people
Yeah.
don't realize. Like recording is low key the easiest part. Not even low key. For
Straight
for
up.
for us is the easiest part.
hmm
Yeah.
Recording the episodes. That's the low key. Some episodes be like therapy. So it's like you come out, we recording, you come out feeling great. So it's like,
Yeah.
but
hmm
it's the going back, the editing, the music, the post production, mastering, all these things, the marketing behind the episode, how
Yeah.
you wanted to like continue and building on your brand, like all those things, conversations you need to have. But
Yeah.
to answer your question, I think I would say our first episode. It's funny because Josh did ask me this question yesterday, just yesterday. Um, I would say the first episode because it signified to me like how far we had come and
Yeah.
that hey, we finally got started.
Mm,
It was a big moment for me because even before Josh came on as a co-host, there was a period of time where I was setting up the business aspect and all the things of an LLC and the business structure and all the elements that you need to have behind this thing. And so spending that year and a half before we dropped the first episode and everything it took to get there, like the photo shoots, the us connecting in DC,
Yeah.
him coming down to Delaware, countless, phone calls, meetings to figure this thing out. Um, how far we both come in Canva, especially me.
Yo. Yo.
I'm in
Don't
Canva.
sleep. You came a long way. That's big ups, definitely.
In a year and a half, I've been
Yeah,
in that
Canva's
thing daily
crazy.
almost. Yeah, I've been in that thing daily almost. I'd be sending people to stuff to people now, and they be like, "Oh, who did this? Me." Bro, this is good. I'm like, what you trying to say? Like, you know, I just take it positively. You know, I was like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. I'm just gonna say like, I'm gonna take it as a compliment. You know, it was like, who did this? So I thought you
Yo,
said, you know, like you got funds, you know, for graphic designers and everything. It was like, I did that, bro. But yeah, first
that
episode for
gets
me,
on
man.
my nerves. I'm not gonna lie, yo. At my job, I'm always the one that's like cracking jokes, having a good time. Then when somebody asks me something political, I get them the real how I feel. And then like, you know, I was telling them about my podcast, and they're just like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" I'm like, and then they look at it, and then they're like, "Oh, you have like an actual like."
An actual real.
Also, you actually
Make your graphics and all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I made the graphic on Canva. Okay, stop trying to play me around here. That's what you're doing. You like, I totally feel you, bro. I totally feel.
Yeah.
But people they're just so shocked. They're just like, I guess like
That's why, yeah, take
people,
it as
you
a
know, they have a
compliment.
picture about you. You know, you work at Boeing, so they probably just, you know, they're just like, oh man, he building some spacecrafts or something like that. So you see the graphic, like, oh, you know a little bit about graphic, like, man, it's Canva.
Oh yeah.
Gotta get on it. Gotta get on it. I heard Photoshop. Is it Photoshop or Photo Booth? The original was Photo Bucket, right? That everybody was on at
You
first.
bring it way back.
Yeah, that's way back. But there's a new one out that Indigo uses.
Oh.
And their graphics are crazy. So
No,
I'm
yeah,
like,
Indigo be having some dope graphics. I ain't gonna
so
lie.
I'm like thinking like I might have to switch real quick.
That's
I have
good
to
to
figure
know.
that out. Right?
Yeah.
I always gotta make sure that we know everything got get put on.
Oh, I gotta pause though. I ain't seen this video opening, Jabari. I'm like, this video, the music edit, and the
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I didn't.
What video open?
Yo, video opening.
Just
Literally,
the one we just saw.
you got the video edit. I was like, oh, I missed the new intro. I'm like,
Right.
hold up.
Oh, how you seeing that right now?
Dog. Came a long way, and I gotta give that to you too. I just had to,
Dude,
I had to run it back because you kicked us off, and I was like, oh snap.
Oh, my bad.
Nah,
Oh,
good.
so you can't see my intro when I kick y'all off?
No, we
No,
could.
we saw it. That's why I'm saying I was getting hyped.
Oh yeah. Oh, got you. Okay, I got you.
Oh, true.
You know what's funny, bro? I forgot what website I did that on because I'm supposed to change it. I'm like 5 seasons in, and that's been like 3 seasons old, and I'm just like, I gotta change that.
It's clean. It's clean.
Yeah, I might think about doing like a spaceship or something, but I gotta figure out how to do it again because it was a website and I lost the website because it was on my other laptop.
I feel that.
Freaking laptops, bro. But all right, anyway, let's get back to you guys. So I love also your rollout with the episode 0. I'm gonna take a sip of wine. Yes, I'm sipping on wine, I know, but
grown man.
I'm not taking shots, you know what I mean? I really like the concept. And who idea was that? I kind of got jealous. I was like, see, this is what I need to be doing. I'm not doing this.
Look,
I'm supposed to have like
I tell you, Chip got play the long game. Because when Chip first said episode 0, I'm like, episode 0? Why are we gonna do episode 0? Like, why are we doing this number? But I'm not gonna lie, like that was a dope concept to be like, and then when this is the thing, when Chip lays out something, right? He lays it out and he'll like say it and he'll like kind of back away from like the camera or the phone. He'll be like, look, man, the road to 0. Okay, I was like, hold on. I was like, you cooking? I'm like, wait, you cooking with something? All right.
That's that Aries magic.
I mess with that. And he's just like, just leave it there for you to think about. So I'm not gonna lie. And the first time he said it, I'm like, why
Just
would
like
we?
that. Set in was like just like that.
But it turned out to be a real dope concept, and it was. And I love stories. You know, I am about music. So
Yeah.
when Chip laid it out that way, and like our story, like really being that road to, that first episode, yeah, I was on board, man. But Chip was cooking.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie. That was dope.
Yeah, man, I liked it. I liked the picture too. That's one thing I like too as well, because you also had the Mecca, the return to Mecca. That I like that picture. Like, you guys chose some really good photos to promote, and I definitely was looking. I was listening, and I was just like learning too, because I'm just like, look, guys got something here, and
Yeah,
I,
boy, Jordan was cooking.
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Now shout out to the bro, Jordan. Nah,
Yeah,
he was the one. Well, the idea, the concept was like,
Mhm.
let's go to a place where we met or something that was very significant to our relationship, like our bond. And obviously Howard, that's where we met. So it was like no better
Right.
place. Let's congregate here. And then we had one of our bros that also attended Howard, step with us, family. So we was like, yo, you in DC? Cool. Like, cause he's a photographer. That's one of the things that he does. So, and then the other thing is like, yeah, always just trying to show love to people that we know, that we have relationships with. Like, if we're building something, how can
yeah,
we also incorporate you, like, legitimately? Not
Mm.
like, it's always helpful to get help in some ways if you don't have the funds for something at the beginning, but trying to always find a way to bring value to other people that are helping you, and not just like always looking for the handout. Because that's
Right.
one thing we want to be intentional about. Like, yo,
yeah,
like
man.
if I care about you, it's like, yo, I really want to bring you in this thing. I can't offer you this right now, but we can do X, Y, Z, and I can provide you with this, this, and this.
That's
Um,
that's good. Yeah.
so, but yeah, it was like, yo, what's your rate? What's your fee? Like, we really, okay, cool. Let's meet here. This is what we're trying to do. And he kind of took us from there.
That's
Um,
dope.
yeah, man.
Kind of
So,
gave me a West Coast vibe too. Not gonna lie.
for real.
Now we'll take it. We'll take it.
Like when back in the day when you think about your homies, like, yeah, man, I was out there.
Look, there
But like
was some
y'all like
pictures.
scholars is like, yeah, I was Howard HBCU out there. You
You
feel me?
know, had to post up. You already know.
That's dope. Post up, getting that education, showing young brothers what they should be doing out here.
Look, man.
so, so what's your goal for what are you guys' goal for the future? What are root purpose fans should be looking for in 2024?
You want to go first?
Oh, no. Go ahead. I was waiting for you. That's why I did the.
So I think because there's always like two sides of the coins. I feel like from like me looking at it, the things that we've done, and like what I'm really excited about is doing more things for creatives, right? Like it's dope when. And yeah, it's funny you said this. Someone else asked me this question today, so y'all all on the same wavelength. Um, I really enjoy that we can promote a space for creatives to create whenever they want to, right? So the fact that we can talk about creating, and we talk about entrepreneurs, we're creating, talking about open mics, like, and not having to talk about monetizing your creativity, right? Because it's hard not to do that sometimes. And it's like, oh, you can sell off of this, and it's like, yeah, but it's not for that. And I had to even catch myself from saying that. So
Mm.
the times that we can pull in our bro to take pictures, we can pull in another bro to help, like, help us like manage and grow the podcast. But the times that we can collaborate and like build space, create space, that we can have an opportunity to do an open mic, to like host a space. Like, that's the stuff that really gets me hyped and excited. Because I feel like the conversations that we've had, like, we're now putting that in action and being able to share and give back to a lot of the people that really inspired us. So Yeah, man, being able to make more spaces for creatives in 2024, that's like a big thing that I hope that we're able to do, you know.
Yeah, man, I totally feel that. I think that's so important, which is why we need to keep having these spaces because, especially in Connecticut, it's so difficult to keep those. Like, so difficult. And Connecticut's not boring.
Yeah.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to believe that if we keep doing this,
Yeah.
Connecticut won't be boring
Chip
anymore.
Filler, Delaware gets the same rep. Like I had to come through Delaware, like, yo, y'all got a lot of black people. And I'm like, this is what people say when they come to
Here we
Connecticut.
go.
Yeah,
Here we
I
go. And
look,
that was like the irony. I was like,
I
how
was
you gonna come
guilty.
in?
Oh, I know. I was guilty.
Terrible.
It's the same rep. It's the
Trash,
same rep.
disorder,
It's
all
a
the other
lot to do
languages
though. Yes,
that I
you're
know
right.
how to say trash in. Yeah, man. Goodness gracious. Yeah. I say what I'm most excited about this year is the guest aspect. Um, we just recorded our first episode with our first guest.
Oh, word.
Yeah, with Wifey, #1 supporter
Word.
of the podcast.
Shout out Crystal.
Yeah, holding it down. Only reason I'm able to do a lot what I do. For real. So I'm excited to be able to, because that was one of the reasons. What'd you say?
I said, dude, I feel you, man.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
my
Yeah.
girl, she brought me my first mic.
That's
My
love.
first mic. Feel
That's
me?
That's love. That's real love right there.
Yep, right.
Yeah, part of the reason the idea was like Josh was saying, creating a space, but a platform to showcase a lot of the dope things that a lot of people that we knew were doing, and it's like being able to delve deep and get to the root of, well, one, why did you start doing this? Two, like what are the services and products you provide, or what are the experiences that you provide? Like, how can we share this, magnify what you're doing? How can we work together to create something? And so I'm excited for that aspect, through the guests, the conversations we're gonna have. Because yeah, like I was saying, I don't like small talk when needed, necessary, cool. But like, yo, let's have a real conversation.
That's really
So,
beautiful. I love how the concept of conversation is 24/7 when it comes to podcasting. Like, because a lot of people don't conversate. It's out in the real world. It's just here, there. You stay with your crew of who you identify with at work for right now until you hate them later. It's just like
Jabari got stories. We need to bring you on our podcast.
I do have stories.
We need to get to the root of what. Get to the root of Jabari.
Yeah, I know.
Jabari the person.
I'm a crazy person. I assume to be a crazy person. But no, I love that. I love the concept, and I love how you're talking about creating space for creatives, because as much as people think, oh, don't you guys have enough? Like, no, we don't. Like, freaking Connecticut is known to be for the cover bands, bro. Like,
yeah.
Let's talk about that first. Like, you trying to tell me the space for creatives? Not everybody's in the cover bands, man. Like, let's talk about that part. Like, we're just gonna copy everybody ish. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love to cover some good reggae with my percussion instruments, but I want people to appreciate what I got. I want them to appreciate that, man. Like, so to have a platform to talk to people about what you could do and what you offer, it's very important. Very important. What were you going to say, Urban Nerd? I'm sorry.
I say it's such a double-edged sword with that, right? Because like T-Pain just dropped what's it called? Is it on top of the covers? He dropped the cover album, right? And
he's coming out with a new album. Nice.
It's a cover album. It's cold too. It's cold, but it's also that gen of like, it's good. We can have spaces where we can like celebrate the things we enjoy, but it's also annoying when it's like y'all try to pigeonhole artists into, well, can you do it like this artist? Can you do it like that artist? Can you paint it like this, right? Because comparison is the death of joy, right? And the other thing that you made me think of, like, yeah, we gotta create, man, because we get so caught up that the opposite of war is peace. It's like, nah, the opposite of war is creation. Like, we gotta create more. And even, in us, in how we change it, like we were talking about, potentially doing things for entrepreneurs, and people forget that that's a type of creation, because they get so caught up, like, I don't want to do a business. And you got to, like, there's a different way to do entrepreneurship or do these things, and you're creative at the end of the day, right?
You got to be creative to be an entrepreneur. I say those
Yo,
two words are synonymous.
Straight up.
Best and believe.
Yeah, man.
Man.
It's so important, because if you're not, then someone else will.
Yo, facts.
But hey, look, I love the Black entrepreneurship that I'm seeing. I know a lot of people like to say that, oh, we don't have it as much as we used to back in the day. Yes, that's true. That's true. But now we're regaining, and the Black economy will be great. I'm telling you right now, it will be, and I'm all for that. I'm all for that, because it's important that we not only like do what we have to do to be successful in life, but we pass it down and do exactly like every other culture is doing. Like I don't try to get mad at them. I try to learn from them and see what they do. Because at the end of the day, as much as I hate capitalism, this is a capitalist system, so I have to assimilate into that in order to get what I want. And what I want is very simple, just live comfortable. But not everybody wants to just live comfortable. A lot of people have a lot of endeavors from comfortability, and they'll look at me like, "Oh, he just want to live comfortable. I want to own what he has." So now I got to figure out how to pivot that. You're like, excuse me.
It's funny, man. You say it's living comfortable while I can and pursue the things I want to do. Right?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, it's not just no sitting still. It's I can pursue and indulge myself in trying these new things. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like Josh was saying, or Anubrannerd was saying, because I knew so many names for you interchangeably. What was it? You was telling me something. Shoot, I just lost the thought. It's gonna come back.
It'll come back to you.
That's
and you know what? If you don't have it now, you're gonna be back again, because
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen right after we finish recording this episode. It's gonna happen, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is what I was trying to say."
It's all good.
So, do you guys got a or do you guys have a videographer for your when you start doing video, or you guys are learning on yourselves how to do that part? Because that's a good question for me, because made a lot of choices on videography to this last year, and definitely need to get a videographer.
Yeah, so I think in terms of what I was mentioning earlier about us moving to video based episodes versus just the audio that the first season was. Yeah, we're definitely going at it ourselves. Me and Josh are having conversations about getting back into, because I think we both have experience in like video editing and those types of things. I just haven't done it at this level in a very long time. And so like over the past few years, I've been, dabbling and getting back acquainted with the, various softwares, like which one would be best. Just figuring out what would that look like, and then planning. Like, okay, if we're recording episodes, like Josh was saying, like the long-term plans I like to have, like, okay, we want to do these number of episodes, breaking down the whole entire process. We record on this date. When in this timeline do we expect to have the episode out? Who's going to be creating the graphics? Who's going to be editing the video, mastering the audio, et cetera, et cetera? What's the timeline for each episode, and what's realistic? So we're trying to go at it ourselves, especially from a cost standpoint, because that's another real thing. So you have sponsorship, or you have somebody that's invested in you, or donations, or supporting us through the merch. We got to figure it out some way.
Podcasters, pay attention. We got to.
And it's I do want to
spread.
say, like, doing it from a distance. One thing that people always kind of say is like, oh, so like, do you go down to Delaware? Does Andrew come to Connecticut? And I was like, doing this at a distance is a challenge. But I mean,
Mhm.
look, technology has made this a lot easier. I mean, you know
Yeah,
this, right? Like
yeah.
when I first got into StreamYard, like we were running through different. Me and Chip were running through different programs, and he had like found a whole bunch of new programs that I hadn't even heard of. And I was like, I'm not gonna lie, there's times where I'm like, I've been on a couple podcasts, like I kind of know what's up. But like after doing research, I'm like, nah, Chip done dove in and like put me onto a bunch of new things. So it was a good way that we could like collaborate, compare options, compare programs. And yeah, taking the time to see what we want episodes to look like. And yeah, it is a lot of the planning. Um, and it does come back to too, right? Um, your what we just said before, our theme, right? What does it look like for us, our aesthetic? That can like kind of help us into how we prep for like these videos.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
But yeah,
man.
that actually reminded me of what I was going to say earlier
Boom.
Oh,
because we're
really?
talking
Word.
about video production.
There you go.
Josh asked me the question like, "Yo, if you didn't have to worry about money tomorrow? What's something that you would want to pursue, get better at?" And I was like, "I want to get back into film creation, like video editing. Like my time in high school and undergrad, I always had a camera in my hand. Like I was always
Yeah.
like kind of the historian, the documenter, like of my family. I'm always the one that had pictures from family events, from friend events, from our experiences at Howard. Like I was actually going back and looking at it. And one that stood out just because you mentioned the Obamas and they were trying to create a podcast around them. So me and Josh was down in DC at a very interesting time,
Yeah.
at a very historical time. And it's super dope to one, understand you're in a literal historical moment, like living in it and
Hmm.
experiencing it, but then even after the fact, going back. So during the inauguration of President Obama, that was our first year at Howard.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow. Really?
when they
Oh,
literally
wait.
our first semester
Damn.
at Howard University, I'll never
That's a
forget
good time to
because
be at the HBCU.
I
Yeah.
remember when the announcement came back because that's when Jeezy song "My President Is Black" first came out.
Yeah, yeah.
So all of these, that's you heard that on repeat. The funny part was, I remember it was a Sunday. I had a calculus test the next day. All my friends was like, "Yo, he's gonna cancel that." I was like, "Y'all don't know Dr. Chen. He not canceling the test." So I'm sitting here vibing out. I got my calculus book. I'm studying. I'm studying. But the cool part was later that semester, making the trek to the Capitol to try to see the inaugural speech. Like everybody, it was a mass migration of just people from
Yeah.
Howard
Shut down Georgia.
flying.
Shut down.
We was cutting through, back alleys trying to get as close to the speech as we possibly could. So it was like that whole experience was
Mm.
a vibe, and just being able to document those types of experiences from our perspective, and not just from news clippings and from what the major news outlets were catching. Like I'm talking about other people experiencing that, walking to the thing. Like we was all bundled up because it was in the middle of winter. But those types of movements and being able to capture those types of moments, I
Mm.
really like seeing those things on screen, both from a photography standpoint, from a
I want,
film.
I want to say too, Chip, you always had that good balance of like you'll like slip to the side and be taking pictures, and I'm like, where's Chip in this picture? And I'm like, oh, he's taking pictures, and then you like jump right back in, be like interacting with people and still be in the moment. So like even when you said that, I was like, man, I do remember you having the camera. I do remember you still being active in the moment.
Yeah.
I think it's a big lesson too. To like you could be that historian, capture those moments, but also like live in the moment. Just like you had said,
Yeah.
it's very real, man.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I think this is a good note to have on. Like I understand that a lot of people have a lot of differences with Obama, but when I was in 2008, what grade I was in? I was a sophomore. And when I saw him on that TV, man, I was very shocked. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie. And I was a teenager and growing up Bridgeport. This is, I mean, we definitely relate to these stories growing up. from rough neighborhoods and stuff. And I'm just like, I looked at him and I said, "Yo, that's a brother in all."
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I was just so shocked. He won. And then when I saw the inauguration, I was like, wow, they're going to kill him. But he survived. He good.
I'm not gonna lie. I had the same like. I'll tell you what. When we were there,
Martin got this back for going left real quick. I was like, I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, and it was like,
but
how did we get here to bar?
My bad, Chip. I'm sorry.
I won't lie. I had the same thought, but when we were there at the being at the inauguration on the ground, it was like I was nervous. But then you like, oh, there's snipers, there's security, and I'm like, all these security, and mostly all these white security are for him, right?
And I'm like, protected to
that,
this day.
But that also was a powerful moment to be like, nah, they protecting this brother right now, right?
Yeah.
So it is a thought, right? But it also brought you back to like the historic moment of like, you know, they are also here serving this black man, right?
Yeah.
So
I was very happy. I'm not gonna lie. I was very happy. That is something to share. Like I'm kind of jealous. You guys started college the same year.
It's a time, man.
And I was being a delinquent.
You made me feel like you was telling me about my age there when you said. So when did you graduate high school?
I was kept back a grade. I was supposed to graduate in 2010, but I graduated in 2011.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it was a few years behind.
Not that far.
I thought you was about to say something like, "Yo,
you're not that old."
School, like,
I thought you were about to say middle school or something. Like,
yeah. Because that's one thing we didn't even talk about. Like,
yeah.
I thought you was when I graduated high school in 2015. Like, what?
No. Dude, can you believe that people are out here drinking that was born in 2000? It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't even want to go to the bar. I don't want to see none of them.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to see that. When was you born? 2001. Oh, get out of here. Did you just leave high school?
Dog.
And the fact that somebody felt that way about you,
right?
At one point in time. So it's full circle moment.
It is. I'm starting to slowly get used to it. God, I'm getting old. But hey, look, it is what it is. All right, brother. So tell them where they can find you. I'm gonna have the link in the description below anyway when this episode comes out this week. So, but tell them where they find you.
So, look, man, you want to go ahead? Look, go for it, Jim.
I'm gonna go because you take too long. Look, listen, this is where we you can find us at our website, rootpurpose.org, anywhere social media, IG, Twitter, TikTok at Root Purpose. Also our YouTube channel and anywhere podcasts are streamed, Root Purpose Podcast.
Definitely tune in.
Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on podcast platforms.
They got some stuff coming up, you know, maybe doing some events. So definitely tune in, man. We're gonna have some announcements.
You doing that open mic again, by the way? Are you doing another one?
Man. So we were recently talking about what the year gonna look like. You know, again, me containing myself because Chip got the plan. So we're looking to do another virtual open mic soon. People really enjoyed that. We're hoping to do another in-person open mic. And definitely, man, we're trying to like see what the possibilities look like doing something down in Delaware. So you know, we trying to plan it, making sure that if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. But definitely, man, tune ins, definitely following. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the platform you gave us, brother. Definitely appreciate being on today.
Oh, hell yeah. Listen, man, this was dope. And I hope you guys have a really good night. It's not that cold out right now in Connecticut. I don't know about you.
I don't know what your definition is. The first question is, what's your definition of cold? Like, I need the temperature number.
It's like,
that's how we really going to gauge.
Like 40 right now. Not so.
Okay.
The whole week it was like in the 20s. So I'm like,
Okay.
I can have
He said
this.
it's not bad, but we staying inside.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have to
Yeah.
put my heat on or anything right now because I'm upstairs. Heat rises. I'm in a good spot right now. But
No, that's
I
real.
hope you guys have a really good freaking night, man. And definitely let's link, let's collab more, have you on the show, or your show, whatever, bro. Like
Have you up on
I
our
love the
show? You
vibe.
already know.
Oh, you already know, man. Just hit me up. You know, I'm just an Instagram away until Zuckerberg ready to take me down. You feel me?
You're not having that, bro.
And to everybody that's listening out there, I hope y'all have a really good night. And please sleep well. It's a nice Wednesday. Happy hump day to everybody.
All
And
right.
you guys got last words?
I'll let you go first.
Stop creating for money. Create for yourself.
I would say the exact opposite of that. No, I was playing. I got 3 kids in student loans. I'll keep it 100 with you. Like, all right, that sounds nice, but bills need to be paid. But seriously, definitely take advantage of those times where you can create for yourself for your growth as a person, your spirit, your mind, your body. That's definitely an important aspect of our health that we don't take advantage of. So I'll just chime in and say that. Piggyback on my guys' words. So,
Word. Well, you brothers have a good night. And to everybody listening on Spotify, until I get done with Spotify, because Tidal one day will have podcasts and Tidal pays better. Let's just be honest. And YouTube, Facebook, Meta, all that stuff. I can't wait until y'all get this episode. Please have a really good night. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to not only this podcast, but to also to Root Purpose podcast as well too. Link will be in the description. I want to give a special shout out to the New Haven Arts Center for the physical sponsorship from 2023 to 2024, and hope there'll be many more. Who else I gotta give a shout out to? That's it. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming on. Have a really good night and blessings.
Much love.
All right.
Blank period, yeah. On my black, brown, and indigenous. Gotta holler if you really feeling this. Gotta holler if you really real enough. Other rappers is delirious. Yeah, it's really that serious. Better holler if you really feeling me. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna live in abundance. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna. I gotta keep it 100. We gotta stop all the stunting. You know we coming from nothing. Yo, you talking about money, you bluffing. We gotta do something different. We gotta change how we live in. We gotta do better for women. We gotta do better for children. We gotta listen to victims, whether Jewish or Muslim or Christian. It doesn't matter your religion. You gotta stand against the system, or else you just another villain. How you just sitting there